Alright, cool. Awesome. Well, today we're talking with the creator of the Fortune Street mod, Rolling Again, which people that have played Fortune Street may or may not know about if you play that game. Basically, it's a mod where there's custom boards that are take on certain themes, like, like certain games. For example, there is one based off the Gen 5 Pokemon League, Unova, which is like the whole region, basically. So yeah. So today we're just going to be talking with Noah about his mod. Like, we'll probably ask him certain questions about it, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, who wants to ask the first question to Noah? And if you also have questions for us, Noah, that's fine as well.
Yeah, that's
Feel
great.
free to ask. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I'll start with an easy peasy question.
All right, sounds good.
What was your favorite board in Fortune Street, and what you've redesigned, or designed in general for Rolling Again?
Man, that would be a tough one. Honestly, the whole point of like Fortune Street 2 being a mod pack that it was is that it was a whole bunch of different ideas for stages. So you would have standard stages, or you would have stages that are just purely chaotic, or you would just have stages that pretty much wouldn't even like exist in like the Fortune Street series up to this point. So it's really just this entire like collection of whatever you're in the mood to play. So I guess some of my favorites are like the super chaotic ones. One of the first ones I've ever made was like the Infinity Gauntlet stage, which has to go and get the Infinity Stones while trying not to be Thanos snapped.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's a train wreck, but I love it.
I can see.
It's so fun to play with friends.
Though. Yeah. I can tell you, it looked. I can see you had fun making it with how it is.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. Actually, when we first started modding Fortune Street, me and my friends, pretty much the only objective we had was, let's try to make the worst possible stage as possible.
I mean, at least you had an idea in mind with it. Like, I'll give you that. Even though a lot of people trash on it, the thing is, at least you were self-aware. I think that's the important thing with that board.
If that's the intention, then mission accomplished kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's see, I love that one. Honestly, there's just a whole bunch of stages that I like. Honestly, if I'm digging for something classic like Luigi's Circuit, I love that one. Honestly, it's like a great take on a linear stage, because it just gives you so many options with the roundabout in the middle. I don't know, I also just like Codename Steam for the fact that you just conquer America. Just some classic capitalism right there.
So you have a lot of Fortune Street history. Is this your first game, or have you played the other Fortune Streets?
Yeah, this is my first Fortune Street game that I played. I actually got into it relatively late in the life cycle. I bought it from like a family video in like 2017, I believe. It was like $10.99, so I'm like, that's a deal. I'll buy that. And I'm like, hey, this game's pretty good. And then, lo and behold, my friends were just wondering, yo, does this game have a modding community? Mario Kart has a modding community. It turns out, yeah, somebody made a stage editor, and it's all been downhill from there. So, yeah.
Here's a good question for you. Which board in your pack did you have the most difficulty implementing as far as like coding? Like, which board were you trying to make and you're like, man, this won't work, like if you play tested it kind of thing?
That's a tricky question, because a lot of Fortune Street 2 stages really push the game to its limits in terms of like how much you could store in its memory and stuff like that. And of course, the computers are only programmed to look so far ahead, so if you have too many spaces, like too many branching paths and stuff like that, the game will just freak out. I think the hardest one, and still is the hardest one, is probably the Mos Eisley Spaceport stage. Not only because there's just so much happening on that stage, but it really does push the game to its absolute limits. And I'm still actually experimenting with designs for the stage to reduce the times that it takes, because there's like little hiccups that'll even happen.
Yeah, I noticed that with balloon ports.
Mm-hmm.
But when ports made the game like freak out and then it slows down, I think like it drops.
As soon as I saw that, I knew this stage was doing a lot.
Yeah, I think version 1.1's version of the stage, I think, reduces it down to, like, 3 seconds, which, I mean, it's better than, like, the original 10 that it was before, but, yeah. That's probably the most, like, pushing it to the limits kind of stage in the entire pack. Other limitations, obviously, happened with, like, just kind of natural limitations, I suppose, like, on the Puka stage, or the Dig Dug stage, I think it is. The legs were supposed to be loopable at one point, but it actually is too complex for the game to, like, register that, so it's actually, like, I think you can loop it in from the suit, but you can't keep looping it forever, because if it was programmed like that, the game would freak out. So it kind of is a balancing act, too, because now you just have players that don't just loop that section on end, too, so it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I'm trying to think any other stages. Technically, the Mushroom Kingdom stage was originally going to have eyes, like the mushroom was going to have eyes on it, that connected with, I think, the district by the bank. Yeah, but that was too complex for the game to handle, too, so those had to be cut.
Spaces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too many branching paths. Yeah, there's always a bit of a problem, not a problem, but there's always a bit of a challenge when you have an idea for a stage and then the game spits it out back to you and says, "Nope, got to redesign it back to the drawing board." And then
if you like that,
for complexity, I'm surprised Minecraft works as well as it does.
Oh yeah, for sure. Minecraft is actually pretty interesting. I'll give it that. It's definitely got that Waluigi Island motif to it.
I enjoyed that board, even though a lot of people didn't like it. Like, I think it's a fun, like, chaotic board.
I like the idea of it.
It's hard to hate it once you realize the gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what other things.
Going off of that, like, when you're designing boards, especially from other properties, do you think of the board first and then, what sort of, like, intellectual property would fit for that? Or is it vice versa? And how was, like, designing boards for other Nintendo and the Star Wars board was like?
Yeah. So honestly, with the boards, the IP came first. I was just, after I made the boards that I wanted to, there were a whole bunch of slots open, and I said, hey, if anybody wants, feel free to request a stage, and I'll try to make it for them in this pack. So I think the stages that I had in the beginning were like the Mushroom Kingdom, the Dig Dug stage, the Infinity Gauntlet, just those ones, like the super basic ones. And then when I opened the floodgates to basically have anybody put in requests, I got crazy things like, do Angry Birds. And I said, Angry Birds? That would be weird. And I'm like, wait, that could be kind of cool, like a slingshot kind of stage or something like that. I'll go for it. What other stages were requested? A Pokemon stage was requested. That was super ambitious. I think they requested Gen 4, actually, but Generation 5 is the only one I played, so I'm like, if we're gonna have a Pokemon stage, and if it's gonna feel like a Pokemon game, I think it's gonna need to be Gen 5 for just having that experience with it. What other stages were requested? I mean, a whole lot of them were. Like, Paper Mario was requested, there was a request for a Mute City stage, even though I looked at the map of, like, the actual Mute City. That's an example of something that I made the stage first, and then I said, alright, that'll work for Mute City, because if you actually look at Mute City throughout the F-Zero franchise, it's kind of just a loop. Like, it would make for a terrible board. So I'm like, throw in some loop-de-loops, throw in the health systems or whatever. Make that feel a bit more F-Zero-like.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm thinking of other ones that were requested. BanjoKazooie was requested.
Yeah.
That one was huge because I think at the time that I announced it, and to let people put in, I think Banjo just got released. So that one was it was just announced for Smash. So that was a huge demand. But yeah, I think that's most of them. I'm trying to think if there were any other oddballs that were just randomly thrown in by request.
Was Pikmin one of them?
Oh, I actually did a Pikmin stage. I've always wanted a Pikmin stage, just for like, yeah, just for the interesting, like, I don't know, a flower design, kind of nice.
Gotcha.
The Star Wars stage?
Oh, the Star Wars stage. All right, so I'm going to talk about the Star Wars stage for a second.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Every game needs a stage that's so legendarily bad that it lives in infamy.
Funny
and
enough,
I
this is
had to
probably my
include
favorite.
Malort Spaceport, as we call it in the Fortune Street server, or the Fortune Street 2 server. Man, it's nuts.
Me and Eerie had some funny games on that board. Oh my god, some silly games on that board.
That's what I love about it, though. Like, it's nuts. You can't take it seriously when you're playing.
You absolutely can't. No.
It's so breakable in so many different ways. Almost anyone has a chance.
You can just get like 200 stocks in the starting area before you promote, and then you can already start nuking and make like $10,000 already for promoting.
I just love how often we just kept trying to make sure no one could get to the island because we didn't want that to happen.
Oh yeah, the Sarlacc pit.
Oh god, that's what's supposed to be the Starlight Pit!
Yeah.
Like, please, we don't want anyone to get in there with a home. Please, no.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, there's just so much crap that's going on in that stage at once. Like, they got the land speeders, the rotating bridge, the entire Sarlacc pit. Basically, no one's getting promotions anytime soon. Stocks are going left and right. It's nuts.
God,
It's the certified dumpster fire stage of the entire pack, but... Yeah.
Speaking of boards and design, when you were redesigning the standard boards for the revamped boards, what was the process like? Were you focusing on rebalancing, or were you just trying to keep its like main fun identity and running with it?
Yeah, I tried to throw a little bit more balance on the side, and well, I tried to keep more balance in tune with some stages that I really liked. Like, for example, I really love Observatory, but there's one particular shop that I think is just a little too strong for where it's located. It's actually one of the ones on the rotating
the
train.
islands.
Yeah. One of them is particularly a lot stronger than others, which is really weird. Like, it's almost like, did they do this on purpose kind of thing? So I'm like, I'll just fix that. Other stages that I just kind of didn't really have a preference for, like for example, a left guard. I don't really know anybody who likes a left guard on purpose, so I'm just like...
Oh my god, I'm the only one here that hates it, and everyone's like, why is it such a good board?
I don't know, it's just, a left guard's big. You gotta have a big time sink for a left guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I was just like, well, if it's gonna have the Infinity Gauntlet background anyways, I'll scramble up the island. I heard that in the DX version, a lot of people didn't really like that one, so I might change it back, who knows, but... honestly, yeah, that's mostly what I did for the deluxe stages. Just basically, it's a good sub-pack. Like, if you want something a bit more serious, but you still want something new, with the Fortune Street 2 rules, because the mod itself is like the stages in the mod are super huge. So it's nice to just have those smaller stages as good fallbacks.
Yeah, regarding the rules, what was the main thought process behind the rebalancing of the vacant ones?
Oh, yeah. So basically what I wanted to make it feel like is I didn't just want it to feel like Fortune Street with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Like a whole bunch of new stages and stuff like that. I wanted to make it feel more like a new experience in a way. Like, it's not the same Fortune Street that you played like 10 years ago or so. It's kind of fresh in a way. So I try to balance things in a bit more of a way that I felt like they play to their strengths and balances. The biggest one that everybody says is the tax office nerf, from 10% all the way down to 5%. Yeah. But hear me out. In Fortune Street, tax office is insanely busted.
Yeah,
10%.
With the current price of the tax office, I actually agree with the nerf in your version because it's hard to find out. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because a lot of people see it as, oh, it's just a nerf. When you gotta think about, okay, well, it got a huge buyout buff, So that's insanely good. Being at 5% keeps it in check with the buff that was given to House and also Balloon in the beginning of the game until Balloon basically falls down and actually becomes a bit more useful for its self-perk. It's also in line with even the Circus now, or which is the amusement park now, and it kind of upgrades as it normally would too. So yeah, what I was saying before is the tax office, 5%, considering the fact that rebates haven't been changed and its bioprotection has been significantly increased. I think that one's pretty well balanced. And you got to think of it this way. Instead of doing 10% all at once, it's basically just you land on the space twice now to get the full advantage of the tax office, which I feel like is a lot more fair, especially when the same person is landing on the tax office over and over and over again.
It's always the one that just keeps landing there, and it's the worst.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't absolutely
gives the game
destroy the player and gives them a chance to do something. And you're not going to want to keep having this tax office get bought out the whole game.
Yeah, that's the other big thing, too. Basically, the only downside of the tax office is if you own one and somebody pulls a bencher card that's like buy out any shop, just go straight for the tax office. That's not even something you can decline.
Yeah, on that note, like, when you were trying to rebalance things like the vacant lots and the boards themselves, were you trying to go for, like, it's its own unique, fun experience, or were you trying to make, like, the ultimate fortune treat?
I was just trying to go for a little bit more fine balance, I suppose. I will say another one that was really nerfed that probably changes the game for a lot of people is the hotel or the 3-star shop. Because that removes the 3-star shop. What's the mechanic called? 3-star shop stock boosting, I think it's called.
Inside trading. We call it inside trading.
Yeah, that was basically just removed on account of there's really no counterplay for it because
it's so bad it needs to be house banned.
Basically, it just became you have a vacant, you probably win.
Yeah, exactly. Vacant and access to stocks. That's literally the game for you right there.
Yeah, like it's so bad
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's so bad it has to be house banned in vanilla Fortune Street. Like it's so unbelievably bad.
It's actually nice to be able to make a hotel if you just need a regular shop instead of just being forced to house ban it and just like, oh man, this vacant's bad because I actually need capital instead.
Oh man, it keeps getting bought out over and over. Shame I can't put anything into it.
Yeah. Yeah, what was I just about to say? Oh yeah. So yeah, that was a big nerf. But it was for the better because you can still get mileage out of it, of course. You can still technically do 3-star shop boosting, but you have to invest in it first, and it gives people adequate time to like react to the situation. They could drop out stocks. Yeah. Yeah, they could definitely capitalize on the situation now that that's in play. And I feel like it makes the game so much like just more fun to experiment with more vacant lots. And I think that's something that I want to do most in the mod too, is if you play competitively, like uber competitively Fortune Street, that's basically what it devolves to. It goes to tax offices and then rebate or renovate into 3-star shops. That's basically the meta. Where Fortune Street 2 it just lets you choose a lot more options because, for example, the tax office is still, I would say, very good. It's not as good as it once was, but I would say that it is a top contender for being one of the best in the game. But there's fallbacks to it, because even though House is super powerful, House sometimes overtakes tax office if you are a player that actually goes for promotions. But if you don't go for promotions, then it'll kind of fall back behind it, and you won't be able to like use the 10% or the 5% rebates from tax office like you would. Or for example, if you build too many houses because you're like, wow, houses are OP. Guys, check this out. I just have houses everywhere. I keep landing on them. Well, when you do that, when you land on them, of course, you bring everybody to your space. And sure, that's a great disruptor at some plays, but if you have like certain houses that are built by like suits, or especially by the bank, warping everyone straight to it is like one of the worst plays that you could do. Because if you warp everyone to bank, well, everyone can buy stocks. And stocks is such the key to dominating Fortune Street.
Houses are definitely situational compared to most.
Very situational, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of stocks, what was the idea behind changing the stock building?
Oh, the stockbroker. Yeah. So I wanted my boards to have a more... I wanted basically the act of buying stock itself is essentially the big power play of Fortune Street. Of course, getting your promotions is huge, but the real reason why you want to go to bank is so that you can actually get the stocks and invest. Like, that is basically like pass and go, essentially. That's the big thing, choosing where to invest and racing people to get stocks in certain districts. So the thing about the original stockbroker that I didn't like is that people could just roll and they could land on it out of sheer luck. And they would essentially like get to buy stocks again completely for free, and it just happens out of sheer chance. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, okay, I feel like it should be fair. I feel like when you cross the bank, that's when you should be able to buy stocks. It's like, usually it's a one-turn basis when you go around the suits, get promotions, or there's some banks that purposely have loopable banks, like the Metroid stage, Brinstar, I'm pretty sure. That one has a bank that you could loop around on purpose. Just to build up stocks to go on your big adventure through Norfair and stuff like that. But the new change for the stockbroker is actually the dividends. So in normal Fortune Street, basically another just default strategy that you would basically do is if a stock is basically completely maxed out in a district, the only logical thing to do is drop out, right? Because they're not going to logically get any more expensive. But if you hold on to those stocks, even though they're super expensive and the money could be used otherwise, you could still get rebates from those dividends if you like plan on landing on that space. And that could be huge, because if you think about it, it's basically just like a smaller tax office for those rebates, which could give you like a huge game. So it just expands your options of, do I want to let go of my stocks or do I want to hold on to my stocks and see where that takes me? So, yeah, that was basically the whole change between that. That and I just kind of wanted to fulfill that need of, like, a free parking space, too. Everybody loves that feeling of, I just landed on free parking.
Oh, I'm safe for 10 seconds. Oh, great.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a free little money square. Just a little celebratory thing.
Yeah, that is nice. With the design of like the whole aesthetic of the mod, of like the deeper saturated neon colors, what was your ideas with like changing the aesthetics of, say, the mini games, and why did Dart of Gold turning to Chance Time and make that much of a difference?
I just wanted something new, essentially. Like, again, if it was kind of made for people that have been playing Fortune Street for years and just want something new, so it's like, well, I'll just do something random. And I'll be completely honest, a lot of those changes that I did in the beginning, they weren't really originally like made for Fortune Street 2. It was made pretty much just to have fun. I just basically, like, for example, that the one with all the Namco characters, I think the Bets at the Rally one.
Yeah, Bets at the Rally, the Slurpodrome run, yeah.
That was literally just came out of a conversation that I had with my friends. Like, yo, guys, who would win in a death battle of all the Namco characters? And then we're like, I don't know how we would check. There's only one way. We got to test with Fortune Street. Mod the game. Oh, turns out Pac-Man won. Yeah. But, yeah, Chance Time, it's just like, I just kind of tying it in with more like things like Mario Party and stuff like that. A lot of people that like Mario Party like Fortune Street and vice versa. So it's like nice to see some more elements cross over with each other.
I guess a question I have is, what were some board ideas you had, but they didn't make it in for some reason? Like, you had like an idea block and couldn't make it, or like it just didn't work, so you just scrapped it. Like board ideas that never made it into rolling again, basically. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I actually have a few. A stage that I've always wanted, but I wasn't really able to do, is I always wanted Donkey Kong to have a stage. I am a huge Donkey Kong Country fan, and I'm like, oh man, Donkey Kong,
I know, right?
the stage, yeah. But honestly, the way how I built the mod, of course, is I was trying to be very resourceful, and I used the old stages, and I just retextured those. The problem that I really had was like, there's not really a jungle stage that I can use.
Yeah.
Like, when I got to the end of the barrel, pun intended, I suppose, of like scraping stuff left, there was like Starship Mario, and I forgot some of the other ones. Starship Mario, and I think like Castle Trody, and I'm like, oh boy, how am I even going to use
Castle
these stages?
Yeah.
How am I even going to use these backgrounds applicable to like some of the stages that I want to make? So basically, I hate to say it, but the only reason why Donkey Kong didn't really get a stage is just because there wasn't a jungle background. But I suppose that's something like really nice about the Fortune Street modding community is from Fortune Street 2, it's expanded so much. Yeah, like it's nuts. People are importing custom backgrounds. People are like doing tons of stuff that I honestly am so jealous that I wasn't originally like able to put in like version 1.0, and that's what makes me so excited to eventually update the game one day.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my goodness, I can finally have some of these ideas like really like realized for some of the stages. But honestly, I'll get back on topic with a question because I do have a few more.
No, you're good.
Another stage that I really wanted to make that just kind of fell into the same boat as doesn't really have a good background is Kirby stage. I wanted to do City Trial from Kirby Air Ride or Kirby's Air Ride, I suppose.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, I would have loved to make like a little stage that had like all of the little buildings and stuff like that, like the volcano area and like the hotel, or I don't even know what it is. It really doesn't look like a hotel. It looks like a parking area.
Yeah, like a parking lot thing.
Yeah, that and Kirby just has good music, so I was like, I really want to listen to Kirby music sometimes, but I don't know. That one just didn't make the cut. I'd love to return to some of these ideas one day, and I'm trying to think. Oh. And I guess I got one more humorous one. Once upon a time, I forgot who requested it, but I really wanted it in. Somebody said, yo, make a SpongeBob stage.
Lol.
And I'm like, I genuinely tried, and I'm like, what could I do for SpongeBob? I'm like, well, there's no backgrounds, so that's a bummer. There's really not an idea that I have because I'm like, the first thing I'm like is, oh, sweet, I could dig out my old Steven Hillenburg book, like, that documents everything about, like, Bikini Bottom, and it shows, like, basically the cartoon pitch and everything. I can't believe I have that still.
God, I wanted that so much.
Yeah. But I'm like, it even has, like, an entire map of Bikini Bottom and, like, shows you where every single building it is, like from season 1 through 3, and I'm like, that's awesome. But I'm like, It's really just a giant circle. That's really what Bikini Bottom is.
Unfortunately.
I'm like, okay, well, that wouldn't really be fun. So it's just like SpongeBob. An effort was made, but it wasn't going to happen. I tried my hardest.
Yeah, it was just not meant to be, kind of thing.
Understandable.
It was not meant to be. Poor SpongeBob.
Rip SpongeBob. Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll find the inspiration.
Yeah. Maybe you could do something like, I don't know, like, you could do a shape of, like, SpongeBob house, and it's like a pineapple. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some ideas you could do for SpongeBob. What's up?
Yeah.
I forget if we were going to ask this later or not, but it's one of those, what was it called? The Big Band, whatever it's called? I forget it.
Oh, Big Brash Band.
Big Brash Band.
Yeah, what is that?
All right. So, we're talking, like, over a decade ago, I'm pretty sure. Way back when I was in high school.
So that's why I couldn't Google it.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be an entire, kind of like a little comic series that I made back in high school. Just starting these stupid little characters, kind of all living together. Just a whole bunch of crazy characters like power-ups for Mario, and you got like Apuka from Dig Dug, all just trying to like live life in one giant family. Now, of course, shenanigans would ensue as always. But yeah, it was just a little, it was a little cartoon that I made. Again, it was kind of, those elements were made, not really for Fortune Street, but since they were just kind of there and it made the mod feel new, I just kind of threw it in and see what would people like about it. what would people react to it, and maybe if they want to see it in today's modern age, because this, like, the comics were written like in 2015, and yeah, and like some of these comics actually like scarily hold up well, like predicting like certain events and stuff like that. I've been thinking of ways like, how could I bring these guys back? Because I know like people are interested in it, but I don't know. It's just comics. It sounds great to like have a web comic, but it's like only a certain. Yeah, there's a lot of effort, of course, and I still have a lot of those assets left over. But I'm just like, kind of thinking to myself, maybe I should pick up something like animation, or maybe I should actually like format these all into one kind of story or something like that. So it's been on the chopping block, but it's something I'm looking forward to do something more with one day.
Oh gosh, now I'm excited. Don't get me excited like this.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, going back on questionings. You talked about the music, just like, I want to do something because of this music is really good. What was the idea with some of the music choices for the boards? Were you just trying to go for the aesthetic of like the brand? Because sometimes on like Dig Dug, there's just randomly just Namco adjacent things or things that sound arcadey enough. So you're just trying to go for like an aesthetic or just like brand recognition?
Yeah, essentially. It's kind of like how Super Smash Bros., which was honestly like kind of a huge like inspiration with this whole kind of like crossover thing, kind of does it, where it's like, yeah, you can have like a Super Mario Galaxy stage, but then on the music list, you get something like from like Wonderful 101, where it's like, what? And it's like, oh, wow, that actually fits. Or it's like, I don't know, you'd be playing Picto Chat, and then you hear Dr. Mario, and it's like, it works. So it kind of goes for that, where it's like, just kind of fits the theme. Like, for example, with Dig Dug, there really isn't much songs that Dig Dug really has, other than obviously Dig Dug, and it did get a few games later on. And there are some tracks like
remixes and stuff.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure there's this game called like I forgot what it's called.
Canada actually is one of the songs I remember on
it. I love.
I used to play that game. That's a fun game. Yeah, I recognize that while playing on that board.
Yeah, I love the Death Road to Canada soundtrack. And that I just felt it fit because it's like it's just bebop, cowboy bebop essentially, and I'm like, it fits. Dig Dug is super upbeat. But yeah, other really weird like oddballs, I think. Trying to think off the top of my head. I think most of the boards are pretty consistent with what they have. I think the only like ones that I was like, I got nothing, literally throw this in, is I think maybe I'm trying to think. I know Pikmin has some weird ones, but I don't remember all of the tracks that they had. But I'm like, Pikmin music is nice, don't get me wrong, it's nice and relaxing, but it's like you can only take so much of like the forest or the Forest of Hope and stuff like that.
It's so specific to Pikmin, it's hard to take it out of it.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I want to mix it up like accordingly and just kind of have something new pop up. Actually, the music was one of the hardest things to insert into the game because, believe it or not, every single one of those files for each of the stages is essentially one giant BRSTM, which is just basically one song. So it's not really a playlist. It's really just one song that loops indefinitely until the next one starts. So, yeah. If I ever wanted to substitute a song, that would require basically to go back, re-edit the entire song and do it again, which is why it actually took so long. And it's kind of why I'm kicking myself where I'm like, oh man, this song would have worked so much better on this stage. Yeah. But I'm just trying to think of ones in particular. I'm just drawing a blank right now. Like I think I remember some really stupid ones. Like I think there's some like Photo Dojo music on the like F-Zero stage.
I think I heard something like, "What is this? This is cool, but what is this?"
Yeah. Geez, I can't even remember. I think there's like Diddy Kong racing on like the BanjoKazooie stage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
I'm trying to even think of some more. There are some really weird ones that I'm just like, you know what? This is a completely random song. Throw it in.
Yeah, it's always fun to just say when you're in the moment, you don't think about it, but then you just hear it and like, wait, what's playing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I guess Luigi's Mansion definitely has some now that I think about it. Luigi's Mansion is probably the biggest stage because it's literally just like, all right, Luigi's Mansion, it has one song.
Has one song that is Luigi's Mansion.
Yep, it has one song. So I'm like, okay, just put in any Halloween music that I find. You get Mad Monster Mansion, you get some Pac-Man World 2 music in there.
That's right.
Yeah, just some good ones. I think that's probably the best example I can think of. Just Luigi's Mansion having just such oddball music picks. But just the Halloween theme, obviously.
I liked it a lot. I liked the choices he had for that board. Really, I like the background on that board. It's a nice pretty board, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. That's always kind of the aesthetic I always thought of with Luigi's Mansion, just the ghosts and the... I think the musical instruments being there was more like a Mario Party 4 kind of thing, but...
Yeah, I know you had that song, then you had, I think, Dark Moon soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Overall, I enjoyed the Luigi's Mansion's board music.
Yeah.
Speaking of aesthetic, what was your, decision on, the character colors, making them different from the standard version?
Oh yeah, well that was just kind of like a nitpick that I have always had, and it's just something that I found out that you could do. So it's like, hey, why not show it off? So it's like Daisy is like orange instead of yellow, which I get that sometimes like Daisy is depicted as yellow in like the Mario Party series where her color is yellow, but it's like, I think orange fits her better. It's kind of more limited, just kind of her and the fairy, I forgot what her name is off the top of my head.
Stella,
yeah.
Stella from Dragon Quest, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, those are the kind of the only two orange characters, so I'll give it to them. Oh, and maybe Patty, but...
I think like a good example of a color that didn't make sense in base game was... I played Donkey Kong usually, unfortunately. His third color was like Bowser's black color, which I thought made no sense. That was really stupid. Why is that his third color? I don't get it.
Yeah, there are some really crazy ones in the code. I think Dragon Lord has like pink for some reason.
What? Really? I did not know that.
Wait, he has pink?
Yeah, if you have them because the way how it's programmed in the actual code itself is that players will take priority. They basically have their color and there's their priority number. And if somebody overrides their priority number with a different number, then they get it first. So if you basically block say, I think it's Dragon Lord 4 times, I think he gets something like pink, and it's like...
That's so weird.
Rocking out pink, I suppose. I think there's there's some really weird ones.
Oh, Waluigi's third color, I think, is orange, I think.
Yeah.
His third is orange.
There are so many weird things. Like, Daisy's, third color is, I think, light blue.
Yeah, it's randomly she gets a light blue that's really pretty, but no one else uses.
Nobody uses it, yeah. I will say, though, here's a little funny fact, I suppose, about Fortune Street. Normally, when characters have their color priorities, the highest ones are the Mii's, obviously, so that they get their shirt colors. But usually their number is 1,000 set in their game's code. And other characters that have basically defaults, like Mario, for example, will most often not get red. He'll have a really high one at 300, and it all goes down from there. So you get 300s, there's 200s, and there's a 10 or something for Donkey Kong getting black or something like that. But for some reason, and I have no clue why, Angelo is programmed to have purple preference. 100% of the time.
Why he has purple.
He has purple over Waluigi too, which is weird.
I think he has 900 set to his
purple.
900 purple. So yeah, I like to think of that character as that one guy who will play the game, but he refuses to play unless if he's a particular color.
That's so weird because you think it would be red or white, for his color, not purple. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so strange. Angelo, a mystery man.
Mysterious. He just likes purple.
He just really likes purple.
Yeah, I can't judge.
On the topic of Angelo, I do appreciate the touch of giving the AI, when they're controlled by not a player, new quotes on the custom board. Were you trying to envision the characters themselves, or are you just trying to tie it into the board a little bit?
Oh yeah, kind of both, honestly. It's kind of fun. That was probably one of the most fun things about the mod, is kind of giving characters new dialogue. It definitely took a long time, don't get me wrong.
Do you research the characters, or do you just oh, he looks snooty, I'll just give him this line?
Oh yeah, there was definitely a lot of research went into it, especially since I'm not the hugest Dragon Quest player. I think I played a little bit of 8 once. But I'm I know enough to say okay, Slime is probably super happy. She's just happy to be there. Just maybe
put the ooze jokes in there.
Yeah, I gotta get the Slimenian language in there somehow. But yeah, a lot of characters were just fun to research too. Some characters I didn't really even know about, kind of Bianca, being a country girl, I'm pretty sure, or just being raised in the country. I don't know, just kind of interesting stuff like that. It's that's kind of cool. Learning about some of these characters that I really didn't know much about before. I didn't even know what Patty's party planning service was. I thought it was for literal parties until I actually did some research about it. Yeah. But yeah, just making a lot of those were just fun because it was what if Mario had something to say about Angry Birds or something, or what if Luigi had something to say about Pokemon? And it's well, maybe he could say something about Mario and Luigi or something like that, and make comparison there. So yeah, just a lot of fun ideas that I had. There are definitely some that I forgot I even written, and I plop a character in and I get a crack out of it. I think Luigi on the other day I was just playing with Luigi on, I think, the Star Fox stage, the Great Fox, and he's oh man, I own this place. I've misfired into this right. I think it goes I think I've misfired into this thing so many times. I'm surprised there's not a few dents in it or something like that.
I remember doing the quote unquote story mode with the campaign mode, I guess, more on rolling and going on the Star Wars board, and someone references Han Solo shot first.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember. There's some good quotes with the Star Wars stage. Of course, you got to have Mario say, "May the pasta be with you."
Oh God, right?
I still can't believe that Mario went to Star Wars at one point, but or at least to the Star Wars parody. But I think my favorite one on the Star Wars stage, I think, is Platypunk. I think his quote goes something like, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." Yep. That's the 70s, all right. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of care put into what they say on the stages, which was super fun. Honestly, I just kind of go through the text files and get a chuckle out of them every once in a while.
What was another question I had? I had some. Hold on, let me find it. I had another one. Actually, I don't know if Ultima asked this, but I don't think it did. How did you get into Fortune Street? What was the thing that made you start playing it, or how did you discover it?
Honestly, family video.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just you know how it's you gotta rent too to get the discount or something like that. So I probably rented Super Smash Bros. Brawl one day, and they probably didn't have anything left but Fortune Street. So I'm just that game's got Mario in it. I'll give it a shot. Lo and behold, I would eventually buy that copy of Fortune Street. Now I own it. So
yeah, Ultima is what got me into Fortune Street. I don't know how he discovered it again.
I discovered it through through the Runaway Guys.
Of course.
TRG,
yeah.
Of course.
So basically, how I did as well, I believe.
Yeah, the Runaway Guys are pretty great.
Yeah, how did you get into Fortune Street, actually, Eerie, while we're on this topic?
Runaway Guys.
Lamau.
It's the same reason I got into Dokapon. That's why we're here.
Dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm dead. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna
no,
say.
yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
On the topic of the Runaway Guys, I'm like, I always wondered if they've ever like seen of this fan mod, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know those people that you're like, yeah, these guys are totally Fortune Street fans. It's like, I wonder if they know that this exists sometimes.
Almost every time, because I remember a lot of times John just talks about how they're kind of struggling to find things to do on Runaway Guys, because they're trying to be remote because they're very serious about not getting each other sick. So I keep almost every time I keep going, hey, Fortune Street has a bunch of modding communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll see it.
Has gotten really far.
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly insane. Like, Fortune Street 2 was literally made with, like, the beta version of the main, like, compiler for everything. And it's like, nowadays you can have, like, custom music for, like, all these little events. And it's like, things that weren't even possible before, like, having multiple button stages and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's like, man, I almost wish I made this mod a little bit later. But then again, I also think that maybe the reason why maybe all this progress was because of like huge mods like Fortune Street 2. So it's kind of like a stepping stone kind of thing. I'm excited for updates, that's for sure.
Yeah, you just gotta see it as this was just a good experience to get your feet wet
and get everyone else excited to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
I guess another question is when do you plan on updating Rolling again basically? Like, is there an ideal time when do you think you'll update it again?
Yeah, I've been trying to make a version like 1.1, just a really small update that just fixes little things, honestly. Just again, like for example, fixing just the Mos Eisley spaceport stage, trying to get that down instead of 10-second waits to like 3-second waits, so it's a lot more tolerable. And then just fixing a few typos that maybe slipped between the cracks. That should be out soon. Hopefully, I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but hopefully it's out this month.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's just a really small update though, but for what's in store, there's definitely a lot in store, especially with what they can do with Fortune Street modding now. There's so many things that I've always wanted the mod to have that just weren't possible at the time that have just become discoverable. And it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to do something I've always wanted to do this whole time. It's like kind of cool in a way.
Well, whatever is in that update, I'm looking forward to it because I'm very curious, because since I've started playing Rolling again, it's basically just been whatever is in it. So I'm happy to see new stuff in it.
New stuff. Even though we've played like a bunch of other mods that branch out and do their own certain things, we always keep coming back to Rolling again for just what it brings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a crazy game. It's kind of like a modding showcase on one hand, and on the other hand, it's just like, okay, it's crazy time. Who's gonna get screwed on the Infinity Gauntlet stage today?
Gosh. Yeah. Or you can roll 9s on it, because why not roll 9s on it?
Why not?
Oh yeah. That was just 9s were just something that were left over in the game's code, and I'm just like, you can roll 9s in this game, and it's like, yeah.
Like, I gotta use that now because I gotta
use it.
You have to commit to making the board of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because none of the boards in the Noah used it. Like, the highest was 8, obviously. Like, Aleph Guard used 8 because it's a big board, stuff like that.
It's because 9 makes some stuff freak out.
Yeah, doors in particular. Yeah. Doors are really finicky. Honestly, that's why. So there's only one stage I think that actually. No, I think 2. 2 new stages that actually use doors. I'm pretty sure Luigi's Mansion and BanjoKazooie stage, the Spiral Mountain stage, both use doors, and I'm pretty sure that's it. But yeah, doors are really finicky for some reason. I have no clue why.
Yeah, like, I remember when Eerie was messing around with, like, custom boards, and then, like, doors would just break stuff for some reason. I don't know.
I love infinite dice movement. It's great, and then the game crashes.
It's so weird. Yeah. I love it. I also remember someone else on the server who made a board. It was for, like, he was making it after OJ, and then I teleported with Donkey Kong, and then the board crashed, and then you see Donkey Kong's face into the void. It was the funniest thing ever.
It's just like, nope, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know why that happens. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that just was a little there was just a point in the board that too much memory was being used, and it was just like, no, I can't think anymore, and then it just kind of tugs out.
I hate that issue. There's stuff I've edited that didn't want to work, and it's infuriated me.
Yeah, it's tricky, but I'll give a nice tip though. When I make boards, I always go with the layout first. I never worry about the shop prices when I'm editing and then plopping things in. First things first, we always got to make sure that the layout actually works. And then the first thing I'll always do is, of course, if the map actually loads in correctly and it doesn't freak out beyond there, is I'll try to build a balloon port and try to use it as soon as possible. If it crashes, that just means that there's a part of the board that's just too complex, and it's a matter of figuring out where it is and trying to find alterations to kind of keep your idea, but make it so that it actually works within Fortune Street's limitations to actually get it working.
To give you an idea why it didn't work on mine end, basically it was a button map and too many options you could move, so aka it liked to break a lot of the time.
Yeah, button maps for sure are super tricky.
Yeah.
It's just funny how like some boards don't like working because you do one wrong thing and then it just like breaks and then it makes the Wii scrubber noise and like and then it breaks. It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's just weird, but hey, when you figure it out and it works great, it's fantastic.
Yep, that's the quote unquote fun of fan modding, I suppose. You gotta find the problem, and then when you fix it, it's all good to go. If it ever happens,
Yeah. I guess another question I have. What made you want to get into modding, and like when did you start modding or your development of Rolling Again? Like when did you start, and how roughly long did it take?
I'm pretty sure I started in 2018, I believe. I'm pretty sure 2018 was actually the one we did, because I may have said this before, but we were just playing around to Fortune Street one day, and we're just like, hey, does this game have a modding community? Mario Kart's got a modding community. So we look it up, and yeah, somebody made a board editor. I mean, it was so old that it was like, it's ancient history now. It's crazy, but we worked with it. It was just dragging and dropping spaces and seeing a whole lot of crashes, but just praising the boards that actually worked and didn't play absolutely trashy, or the exact opposite, just worked and absolutely were dumpster fires. But yeah, I will say this. The way how I found the huge modding community behind Fortune Street, or the Custom Street server itself, I believe we were reached out by a person after me and the super crew made the terrible Fortune Street open book mod. Oh my goodness, that was a that was a mess. Basically, what the Fortune Street open book mod was, it was basically, the text file in Fortune Street is just a CSV, which can be turned into a text file, which can be turned into a Google Doc, and you could share that link with anybody, and they could change whatever they wanted to. So we just went on a whole bunch of Discord servers, and we just put that link, and it's like, hey, you could change anything you want.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Gosh.
It was something. But I will say, there were a few things that came out of that mod. Not only did I find the Fortune Street modding community, because they actually reached out to us after that, but there's a venture card in Fortune Street 2, or not Fortune Street 2, Fortune Street Open Book, that actually did predict GameStop's stocks explosion.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
What time of what year was this?
I think it was released in 2018. Or wait, it might have even been 2017, maybe. I don't know. but it was long in advance. I think the exact words that the mod uses are, this just in, GameStop stocks become hella OP. So I guess they were right. Should have invested. Should have trusted Fortune Street Open Book all this time.
Yeah, I know, right? They're the
power
best,
of memes.
Inside trading memes. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was a huge, and just seeing that Fortune Street modding community, just to see that was there, that really inspired me to like want to make a map pack, because people had map packs before. Like when I was when I first put together my my first compilation of everyone's stages, I was playing through them, and I'm like, this is really great having all of these extra stages to the game, but it just feels like I'm playing more Fortune Street in a way. Like, I'm seeing all of these things like spirals and triangles and everything, but it really doesn't have a lot of context behind it. It just feels like I'm playing on a stage, just spaces in space, or spaces in space, I guess, as I would describe it. But it's like, I was really hoping for like more context, and that's what really wanted me to make Fortune Street 2, because I love stages that are based on something. Like, yeah. And just having some things like, oh, look, it's the Mushroom Kingdom, and actually having it be like a mushroom, or just things like the Star Fox stage still being kind of a standard layout, but having it be in the shape of the Great Fox itself. It's just like, it just adds a little bit of charm that I really like about it. It's just like really neat to be playing like, yes, I'm playing like a Star Fox stage, or I'm playing Luigi's Mansion, opposed to like, oh, I'm just playing a spiral in space.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like the new advents that a bunch of other modding communities have done with like adding like whole things like custom characters and stuff, when you're thinking of doing a rolling again 1.1 or maybe even 2.0 way down the line, are you thinking of doing something like that, like custom characters, more crazier things, or just you just want to give us just more?
Yeah. I would love to try to add as much content as I can, like along the lines, of course, when I'm free. Since this is mostly worked on just by myself in my spare time. And of course, I'm juggling a whole lot of other things too, which is why it usually takes a lot longer for like mods, heck, even a version 1.1 to even come out, while juggling a YouTube channel and all this other stuff too.
Fun.
But as far as custom characters go, I think that's one of the limitations that we actually are at in Fortune Street modding, where it's like the next biggest thing is trying to figure out if it's even possible to add new character slots without replacing old ones, because there was actually just a really fantastic mod pack for the game by the Custom Street people that just adds a whole bunch of Mario characters. It's on their server, but you could play as characters like PD Piranha, King Boo, like Pink Boo, and all of these other characters like Dry Bones. It's like, this is really awesome, but it's a pack that replaces all the Dragon Quest characters at the same time, because you can't swap one out without replacing another, because there's only a certain amount of slots that you can work with in that situation. Maps, for example, have been bypassed. You can actually have over 18 maps now, as another fan mod does, called Custom Street World Tour, which is just basically the collection of a lot of fan mods, or fan maps, essentially.
Yeah.
But that's possible because all it does is it just looks at those param files, which are basically just the files that see what the game boards are, and it just puts all the spaces together, and it builds it like a Lego set, essentially. It just gets the instructions, builds it like a Lego set. That's all it takes, and it doesn't take any more space. Where characters, for example, they refer to their color IDs, they refer to their text files. There's just so many more things that it has to pull from, that expanding that limit is just not really possible.
It's kind of like with like fighting games with like character ID for like the character slots, in the sense of them functioning like in fighting games. That would be like an example of it. Like
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would love to add more custom stages along the line to whatever extent that I can, of course. And I'd love to even see what other people would like, and if they have any like special requests or anything, maybe I can like incorporate some stages that they have, like they really want to see with the Fortune Street 2 rules into it. I'm always like looking to see if people are actually interested in like contributing to the mod if they would like to. I let that possibility open just to see. It's like, okay, if you like Fortune Street modding and you just want to see like your stuff kind of be in this stuff, just feel free to DM me, and maybe we'll talk and maybe we'll get into the game somehow. But yeah. Some other things I would love to add other than stages. I would love to like tune the, say in a potential update, I'd love to further tune the vacant lots, for example. Like, I love the changes from the original, but I feel like they could be better. Like, I feel like 500 is great, but I feel like 400 is a really solid number that they should be worth as well, because that does bring down their bioprotection by another 500G, and I think 2500G is a bit for bioprotection sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. It's a completely different feel, and I can see the idea behind making it so. It's not crazy, but if you have to, you can bite that bullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, especially when like acquiring dominations and stuff like that. So yeah, I would love to tweak the vacant lots just a little bit more, just to kind of balance them down just a little bit. Things like maybe balloon port, I think, could maybe be a little bit less expensive, and maybe house, for example, maybe that could be at 75. I don't know how much that'll interfere, because I do like house and tax office having that rivalry of, do you want to go for promotions or do you want to fall back and maybe get rebates instead? Kind of having that like
because in Rolling Again, tax offices aren't a stupid early game because of the percentage change, like they were in vanilla.
Yeah,
how the net worth is with the percentage. Like, I think my only problem right now when I play Rolling Again with people is every time we get a vacant, it's like, okay, we build 3 balloon ports, and then I don't know what else then next. I think that's right now.
Much.
Balloon port is just always going to be inherently good.
Yeah, it is. It's just how it is designed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just really the big problem with it, because like the only way to really remove like Nerf balloon port would be to remove its entire mechanic. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's the whole point of the balloon port. That's why everybody loves it.
Actually,
you say what you're gonna say.
Actually, Omia had a good suggestion for maybe fixing balloon port, but I don't know if people would love the idea of it.
People keep giving me flag. My idea is that if you're gonna put a balloon port down, it's free for you, but everyone else, they have to pay. That way, it can be a bit more expensive, but it's much more worth it to actually go there, and thus you can get a warp.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, that idea allows it to not only be expensive, but also entices people to go in more dangerous areas. Because maybe, hey, spending 700 is more than 1,000. Is better than 1,000. And at least I get to go somewhere and you're not going to buy it out after you spend like $500. You're going to go buy something you need.
Also, it would stop people from buying balloon ports out, because there's no need to buy it out if you're just going to pay and use it anyways. That's the other thing.
And thus it speeds up games, because it allows people to move around and use the money that they can't use when they're just not able to land on anything. Mm-hmm. And thus people just start being able to play the game more, which is my big thing about it. It just lets people play the game.
You can't just make balloon ports, because other people might just be able to take advantage of it too hard.
Yeah, that's the only other drawback, is if you build too many balloon ports, obviously. And if everybody's landing on balloon ports, even like stages like, oh my goodness, just even imagine like Mos Eisley Spaceport with all those balloon ports just constantly getting...
But that would be so fun, though. If everyone has balloon port access, then it's completely insane.
I'll say this. I'm glad there's no vacants on Luigi's Mansion, because that would just make that board worse. Like, imagine balloon ports. Like, hey, I'm just going to balloon port to the other side immediately.
I'll be safe. Yeah. Bye now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some maps definitely were built, and some definitely were built without vacant lots in mind. For example, the Pokemon stage, I would highly recommend not putting any vacant lots on that stage because
well, no. Well, there's that part hasn't really.
Balloon ports are so like OP on that stage because literally the whole idea is that you're rolling on these straight lines to like imitate the random encounters of Pokemon. Like you don't know who you're gonna get. But yeah, if you land on your balloon, it's just like warp from one end all the way to the other. Just skip all of it. Yeah, I think that would kind of lose the kind of immersion that stage kind of has. That, and with vacant lots, you kind of replace other Pokemon, and it's like, it kind of ruins the whole deal with it.
They're all just Dittos now.
I will say this. If you change anything about Unova and an update, please give people more money, because, like, oh my god, some stores are so expensive on this board. There's $1,000 store.
It's Zekrom, man. You gotta spend $1,000 for Zekrom.
Yeah, I'll actually go into the Pokemon stage a bit, since I actually really like how that one turned out. The Unova stage is actually like one of the longest, like, if you want a serious game of like one that'll last a long time, this is a really good one because sure, you gotta balance your money out in the beginning of the game. Like, you can't just buy every shop that you see. It's kind of like choosing your own Pokemon team. You can't like bring everyone into a battle. You gotta choose the ones that you really want to see. So it's like, yeah, Zekrom's $1,000, but I could also buy a Stunfisk and, like, I don't know, a Lilligant or something in 2 different parts of the board. That, and you gotta have your money to save with stocks too, because stocks are still as valuable as they always have been on any other board. If you keep buying whatever you see, you're not gonna have enough to invest. So it's just kind of it's a good game of like really predicting, like, okay, what's my team going to be, and what can I do to maybe trade people Pokemon and like assemble my proper team in a way. And there's just an element that I really like to it. It's meant to be a longer game, and it's kind of meant to like pace people a bit, and that kind of makes it like gives it the feeling of it's this huge adventure. It's not just done in like a typical Fortune Street amount of time. It like takes a lot of decisions, I suppose. That was the idea behind the stage. So I think everyone's first time on Unova is a little bit different than whenever they play it again, because it kind of they kind of learn their lesson pretty on that buying everything as they see it, it doesn't work.
Yeah, like actual Pokemon. Catching them all only works when you're already knowing what all of them do.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
No, I have a question about it. Why are the
sure
districts
thing.
laid out the way they are?
Yes, the randomized districts.
Mm-hmm.
That's just basically to make it so it's like Pokemon, for example, where you know how you have those giant stretches. You're not just like, okay, I'm gonna roll in District E this turn. It's all random. It's kind of to incentivize that like random encounters.
Oh.
Anything you roll is like, okay, I could end up in District A, I could land up in District B or District F or something. It's just like, it keeps it diversified so that you can't just corner one part of the board and call it a day. You really have to have all your eggs all over the place to like really maximize your like type team in a way. Yeah. But I will admit that if you play it as your first board, good luck, because it's nuts. I feel like I have a way that I can maybe try to make it a little easier to comprehend later on down the road. That I could try to implement, but yeah, it's definitely a little nuts when you first see it and it's like, where's the Pokemon I need for grass types or something?
I remember when like we played it and then we tried to make trades, and then I was like, wait,
so
do I have
painful.
this one? Do I have this one? Wait, and then I'm like, wait, no, we can't trade. I don't have anything in this district. We can't.
I don't have this type.
Yeah. Yeah, that I'm definitely going to make use of the A and B buttons, which actually let you cycle through the shops. I'm actually probably going to lay it out really differently. Normally, how I would do a map, or how I would organize the IDs of maps, is just doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like all in a row. Where I would probably actually do that now is I would give it the benefit of the doubt so that when you're actually like browsing shops in the trading menu, It starts with the fire types. You click A, and it shows you all of the fire type location. Like, it goes through the fire types, and then if you keep scrolling, you'll get to ice, you'll get to water, you'll get to all that stuff too. Yeah, because right now it just goes in a line, and it's not sure it looks great when you're like mashing A and the cursor's going through the map, but it would be a lot easier. Yeah, I think that'll be a huge help when I implement that. Hopefully that's something I do in the version 1.0 mod, or the 1.1 mod, because that should be an easy enough fix.
Because I remember when, like, again, like when we try to do trades on the board, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't trade. And I'm pretty sure the first game I played, someone went bankrupt.
Yeah.
I think so.
Pretty sure they bankrupt, yeah. Because I think we just said, screw it, we don't care about the stock game, and then we just nuked, like, with no stock, and someone just landed on a bad space and died, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was me or someone else, because it wouldn't surprise me if it was me, because once I'm, like, done, my brain's just done, it's like, alright, I'm nuking, I don't care.
I think it was either you or Nobu that died. Like, one of you, either one of you nuked and then you died to each other. Like, bad space.
Yeah.
I don't remember, though.
I know Nobu's in here. You can just type in VC if you remember or not.
Yeah. The Unova stage will always be one of my favorites because it really does change how you play the game. Like, yeah, it's just everyone's first time on Unova is different than whenever they're going to play it again, just because it does have that whole, like, learning experience to it.
The only problem I have is there's not a lot when I play Rolling Again. A lot of people don't like to play that board again most of the time. They're like, yeah, no, I'm good, and they don't choose that board.
Scared. It's a scary board.
Yeah, it is a scary board. It's easily one of the most ambitious one in the entire pack.
It's the most daunting.
Like, I'll give you credit. I do appreciate the idea. Like, what it's based off is cool. Yeah, like, what it's based off is cool. Like, I do love, like, Gen 5 is a great Pokemon game, and Unova was a cool, like, region in Pokemon. Like, the idea is cool. It's just...
Yeah.
Actual new people playing it, no, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Not a good first stage.
No, absolutely.
What do you mean? You gotta introduce the friends to Unova. It'd be great.
Yeah.
They won't get confused at all.
Yeah.
They'll be like, wait, why is this here? Wait, why is there a $1,000 store?
$1,000 for Zekrom.
I remember when I first played Rolling Again with Eerie. We played other boards first, but, like, I think the third time we played it, you're like, hey, let's look at this board. I'm like, wait, why is there a $1,000 store? I was like, wait, hold up a second. What is this board? I was just baffled looking at it.
Yeah.
I am glad you explained the idea behind the Pokemon, like, with the areas, because that makes a lot more sense, because I never got that part either when, like, me and Eerie looked at that board.
Like, I figured out that they were sorted by typings, but that was about it.
We knew that, but it's like, why is this the way it is? But I'm glad you explained that, because it clears up a lot of things. Like, because at least you had that idea in mind, at the least, for it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I've also found out that usually the people that actually, like, are super into Pokemon are doing a lot better on that stage, supposedly. Or at least my friend who actually played Pokemon quite a bit actually schooled us who don't play the series as much. And it's like...
That's funny.
Yeah. And it's funny because he usually doesn't play Fortune Street that often, so it's just like... Noob beats pro. I don't know.
I don't know if there's, like... I'm trying to think if there's any boards that I have, like, really dumb luck on. I feel like I've really dumb... I know it's not Rolling Again related, but I have really dumb luck on Alucard. I don't know why. I just won a lot of games. Yeah.
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other boards. I mean, depending on how matches go, no match is going to be the same as the next. That's kind of the beauty of Fortune Street.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Agreed. 100%. Like, you'll never have an identical Fortune Street game, even if you play on the same board, and that's a beauty of the game in itself, and why I play it as well. It's great. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I was going to... No, you can go on.
You go ahead. You're good.
All right, I'll keep going. I was going to say that's kind of what makes it so difficult to, like, balance, like, Fortune Street boards, too, because it's like, okay, in this game, this person clearly won with this district, but you could play the same game again, and it's like, well, that district became absolutely useless this game. So, that's why it took a lot of playtesting to try to, like, make those decisions on which shops are going to have like less yields than others and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And even then, I'm still not even like fully convinced on what I did was like always right, because it's like every single ranch is different. It's like, okay, is this an exception or the rule? But yeah, you can keep going with what you said.
Also, like on that note, there's also things like, for example, there's like RNG you can't control. It's a way you should have won games. For example, I have games where I should have won, but I could never land on my properties and invest. So it was like, well, there was nothing I could do. Yeah. Or I remember actually another example. I was playing on Ouija Circuit, and I literally had the target condition. Eerie remembers this game because he was in it. I think it was me, you, Red, and Ultima, I think.
Oh, God, I think it was that one, too.
And here's what happened. I was literally about to win the game. I was by the bank. Someone got a venture card. The venture crashed a district by 20%. It hit my fucking district, and it dropped so badly. I lost, like, so much net worth, it put me out of target condition. And then I couldn't win the game. It was sad.
Oh, right.
Because I didn't even sell my stock because no one was leeching. So I'm like, hey, I might as well keep my stock, right? And then I lost, like, 3,000, 4,000 net worth, and I was out of the game. I was like, wow, this
was
sucks.
so sad. And after that, it's like, oh, time to bail every time.
I think that was the game where I started like doing like the stupid game reviews after everyone.
Yeah, because like I literally lost the game because of that one venture. That is the only reason I didn't win the game. I was literally about to win the game. I was like 2 or 3 spaces from the bank. Someone pulled that venture, hit my district, and I was like, wow, this sucks. Wow, that's awful.
That's Fortune Street, baby.
Yeah, that's how Fortune Street is. Like you get this close, and then it's like someone pulls a venture.
Yeah.
There was another game we played like on World Tour, and I literally won the game because I got 57 because I went to a
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to
those
because
really small boards.
Oh
the
yeah.
light versions. That's what we were playing on.
Yeah. So basically, I got 57. I went to my property right by the bank, and then I nuked, and it was enough for me to win the game. And then I was right by the bank, so I could not lose. It was literally right there, so no one could stop me. So yeah, I was like, okay, 57, nuke, win the game. All right, okay then, sure.
Nice.
I literally should have not won that game, but because I got the venture card, it literally let me win the game. So yeah. That's another reason why it's hard to balance, because like there's just RNG in the game like that can just swing the game. There's no control.
I mean, that's also what makes it. I was gonna say that's just what makes it fun too.
And that's another thing I don't mind about Fortune Street, because it's not supposed to be like. Even though you try and balance things, it's not a competitive game. At the end of the day, it is a party game, and it's about having fun. Like that's the most important thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's fine to balance things, but I think like
you just gotta
dumb
make sure
stuff
not to
or fun
factor, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like because I think that is the most important thing about it is having fun at the end of the day, regardless of what your design philosophy is or anyone's design philosophy with the game. Personally.
Yeah, well, 100%. I 100% agree with that.
Because like even if stuff goes bad for me in Fortune Street, I just enjoy the game because it's just kind of game where you just laugh at it and can't take it seriously because how the nature of the game is. Because it's like I remember games where like the Ouija Circuit one where I was doing so well and that happened, and then I just get like Seinfeld laughing noises in my head when I got the bad venture, lost the game. I was like, well, okay then. I also remember the Castle Trodain game I played with Eerie, Red. I forgot who the fourth was. I don't know if Ultima was the fourth or it was someone else.
Big shop.
I think it was Monado. Yeah, Monado. And then we kept landing. I kept landing on each fucking property, and I kept paying, and I could not get anything. It was so bad. DK was already doing the fist slamming animation. It wasn't even 20 turns in. It was so bad. I was like, oh my god.
So Castle Trodain's your favorite map, right?
No, it's not. I don't like it after that game. It was awful.
Castle Trodain is so small. We call it the hamburger.
Yeah. I have another funny story too where we played on Planet Zevis. I like that board, by the way. It's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like that one.
From me.
Yeah. But basically I was about to win the game, and the other 3 players kept colluding because someone had the vacant. So each turn, Noah, they kept trading a home, and they kept trading it every single turn so they could land on it to collude against me. So I could not win the game. And every time I got close to the bank, because it was in the Brazil, I had to go all the way, leave Brazil, go all the way back to the bank. Because also, I didn't have a vacant lot, so I had no balloon port. So I had to get back there manually, basically. And every time I was about to get it, oh, nope, home, go back to Brazil, home, go back to Brazil. And the worst part is, not only did they stall me for like 2 hours, I actually didn't even win. So they had a reason to stall. Like, Monado ended up winning that game. I remember, I think it was Monado. It was
after Noman had a win streak is why we did that.
Yeah, I won every game that night, and you're like, no, Noman's not going to win another game. Like, come on now. Like, I won every game that night. I was like, no, stop. You're not winning every game tonight. So you're like, no, we're not letting this happen. Yeah, it was me, you, Flat, and Monado. I remember. That was such a stupid game. Probably one of the stupidest games the Fortune Street we played. But yeah. That's another reason why I like Fortune as well, because I can just have great memories of like really dumb games, and I could just recall exactly what happened as well. Like, to give you an idea, Noah, we like putting our results and like making, as I like to call it, me and Ultima, the bad Yelp review, and we basically just talk about what happened, and it's like really
I started that after a really stupid game, and then people started just doing it in general.
Yeah, the bad Yelp review, as I like to call it. But yeah. Let's see if there was anything else. Well, actually, there is something I might start doing soon. Oh,
He died.
he may have died.
You pressed the wrong button.
Man, pushed the wrong button, or his internet died.
That's very possible.
And now it's time to play rolling again to get the B-roll for the recording.
We'll just upload it on DokaNerds YouTube channel.
Well, this part should probably be edited out. I'm gonna have to learn editing software. Woo!
Joseph can edit it.
I can edit it if you need me to.
Or Ultima, yeah. Joseph. I know Joseph. Yeah. Joseph actually edited our last stream.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a power outage. He said he's coming back.
Oh, that's fair.
There we go. Am I back?
Yeah, it's working.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. No problem.
A bit stormy outside at my whereabouts.
Understandable. Yeah. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, fair.
Well,
all right.
What I was gonna say is that since we asked a bunch of questions, there might be some people here that are listening might want to ask some questions. So I wanted to give them a chance potentially, since we talked a bit.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to ask questions, just use the feature, and I don't mind if you want to ask Noah for a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either use the voice chat or request to speak, I guess. We could just do that.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, you can type in voice chat or use the thing. Yeah, you can just type in voice chat and I'll read it out if you want to ask a question that way.
Yeah, I suppose while we're waiting for some questions, I could kind of try to retrace what I was talking about before.
Yeah, go for it.
Take your time.
Yeah, if I can even remember what I was talking about before. Geez, I think we were talking about, like, the Metroid stage, I think.
Well, I was talking about memorable games, like how you were saying how, like, Fortune Street was never the same, and I was saying one of the reasons is because it's really memorable what happens.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I was also talking about before you went out, like, your power outage happened, how we love to post results, and me and Ultima came up with turn the bad Yelp review where we talk about what happened, and it's really fun to look back on, like, with games of Fortune Street, like that.
I think about all those, our favorite, one of the favorites here is, like, Legend of
Zelda.
I think,
yeah, I think someone wants to ask you something. So.
Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can show the requests.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. I hit the wrong button.
Hello.
Hello, dude.
Hello.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
It's not too
Sound
staticky. I've got fans going because it's hot as
We
all
don't
hell
hear
in
the
Texas
fans,
right
so
now.
you're good.
Anyway, okay. So, hello, Noah.
Hi.
I have played your mod a couple of times, and I am not the biggest fan of it, as everyone else here will tell you.
Yeah.
I've
met
had
some people.
incidents involving Triforce and Luigi's Mansion. I may have gotten very upset about it. I may have gotten stuck on the island with the bank and there were no buttons to get me out of there. And I blamed you for it because you made the board. So I hold you accountable.
I take full responsibility.
But yeah, I mean, I do think you've done overall a pretty good job with the boards. There's a few things that I question. You know, like Luigi's Mansion, in my opinion, the whole upper half just is pointless. Like the bottom half is just infinitely better.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to make the top half of the board a lot more useful. I think what I think in the latest version of that stage I did is I made it so that you can't enter the door through the bottom half. So you can't just go through the pipe, go to your left or right, and then go back through the door. I think you have to go through the door by going up and around. So you kind of have to strategize your route a little bit more up, like that way. And that way, when people get stuck up in the top half of Luigi's Mansion, they just have better odds of their spaces getting landed on.
Yeah, that could be pretty beneficial, yeah, because just before you just go left or right immediately from the warp pipe and be more or less fine. But I think that could be a beneficial change.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a Fortune Street modder myself. You were mentioning earlier about the in Custom Street server about the mod pack with characters.
Mm-hmm.
That was partially my doing.
Oh, congratulations!
I was a minor part of it, but I did do some stuff to help.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty impressed.
Mostly using my machine to help do things, but I did find, you know, in my escapades of character modding, I've sort of figured out how to change like buildings. Like I can put custom buildings into the game.
Oh, nice.
I can put Pokemon into it, even though it's a bit of a pain in the process and a half.
Yeah, I saw you show me that. That looks painful.
I can do it. Doesn't mean it works great, because it's going to require me to do a whole lot of custom animations, and I'm just too lazy to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did help make that character mod to a degree. And if the main head honcho was here, she would probably agree that I was probably the reason it got done when it did, because I encouraged her to do it when she did it.
Yeah.
But we're there's more that we plan on doing with it. Like we're gonna replace all the dialogue. And earlier you talked about
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Dialogue with your mod, but I signed my own death warrant because I agreed to do that, and it's custom characters. Like they have to have all their dialogue put in, and I'll tell you, it's an adventure just starting to do it.
Oh, 100%. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I am excited. I would totally love to see what PD Piranha is thinking about on Castle Trodian when he just hits that breadline of $0. What is the first thing that comes to his mind?
I'm not sure who's got what characters, but I think PD might be one that I'm doing. So.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I'll have to see. I know I've started doing Boo, Pink Boo, and I think I'm doing King Boo too.
Ah,
so
nice.
I think I might be doing all like the monster villain type characters. I think. So
all those are the ones I'm most excited for. So I wish you luck.
Well, I'll try to dedicate time and make them good. But there's other things too when you're talking about your board design and everything, such as like making them balanced and starting with the outline of it. That's how I also do it, because I've made my own custom boards a little bit. And I'm sure people here, Noman, I know, has played on them, and they're a little bit different than yours. Like how you try to make yours balanced and fun for the players. I don't. Mine are meant to be unfun and gimmicky.
Yeah,
like
Like
chaos.
I have one that I don't know if no one was here for. Were you here for the one that's gimmick was it had event spaces and they were all the roll again event spaces and they're just two rotating.
No, I didn't play on that one. The one I played
I
was
think I
the one
watched
with
that
the.
one.
Yeah, you might have watched it.
I played on the one with the only way you could promote was getting the suit yourself cards.
You had to land on either the islands
right,
from
yeah.
the event or one of the event cards that just gave you a suit.
I remember that game because the only reason I won was because I gamble nuked and someone landed on it.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I won.
bankrupt.
They went bankrupt. I gamble nuked with no stocks, and because I said, "Man, this game is going too slow. I'm just gonna speed this game up."
Yeah, this game's taking too long.
And then I nuked, and then they died. I think it was Monado that went bankrupt. It was me, Monado, and someone else.
Frank, because I know Frank.
I think Frank was playing. Yeah, it was Frank actually. It was me, you, Frank, and Monado. Yeah.
But then he wanted a round two. He wanted to go back to the Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He didn't learn his lesson, but like it's not. It's like I've told other people. You know, anybody can just get tiles and Fortune Avenue, put them down, and load it up and make sure the pathing works. But it's a whole other thing to
make something that works.
Where a board is good and fun, and I don't use all my powers for just evil. I mean, to make a board like that, you sort of have to understand the concepts of decent board design because you want it to be at least playable and not just overly frustrating. It might be gimmicky, but you can play a full game on it. And with some proper tweaking, I can make it better. But I have other questions. Like I know y'all touched on the vacant plots a lot. And I know a lot of people complain about those nerfed tax offices, about them being 5%. And I guess I sort of get why it's nerfed to how it is, but at the same time, it just gets outclassed by other vacants, which I guess is good. It mixes up the gameplay because in vanilla it's just balloon port or vacant or tax
office.
Yeah,
because hotels or 3 stars were house banned because they were just too good.
Just insider trade.
Trade, and you win the game. Yeah.
But then you get where if you can get your circus tent landed on it, it becomes a valid building to build. Homes better. I don't know if you've changed real estate agency or not.
Oh yeah, real estate agency. Oh, we haven't even talked about that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if y'all touched on it or not.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Or toll booth for that matter, but I don't think you changed toll booth that much besides just base price.
Yeah. The buyout protection is basically what it needed most.
Yeah, because late game it still falls off though, so you have to change it late game. But
it's good early game, but
I can't remember for the life of me if you change real estate agencies or not. I know that in some mod packs that I've played, I think mine that I've been partially working on it allows if you land on it for a ×3 buyout or ×4.
Yeah.
Instead of buying for free, and it still just puts the other person to sleep.
Yeah,
I don't know how you changed it or not, if you did or.
Yeah, and I can actually touch on that a little bit more. I think in Fortune Street 2, at least in version 1.0, it was changed, and I believe it originally was going to be that buy any buy out any vacant lot for ×4 or ×5 the value is what it used to be. That was originally like way back when the mod was starting. That's what I really wanted it to be. But when I actually like put it to practice, I really just didn't find it super satisfying because it's like, oh cool, I could buy out anybody, but like at 5 times the value, it's just kind of normal. I mean, sure, you don't have to pay the price, and it's like just kind of CPUs building the property so often and not even using it, and it's just like it's kind of sad.
The other problem
CPUs are sort of not great with mods overall. They can't really understand author's intent, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think the other problem I have, Noah, with that is also at that point you could just do balloon port and then buy people out that way by landing on people with balloon port. Because even if you buy them out, they don't get the full amount. But when you buy them out that way, they get the full amount of money.
Exactly. So then I went back to the training board or the drawing board, and I was thinking, what else could I make it do? And I think I decided, at least on version 1.0, that I just kind of like the idea of it being a like a gamble house, essentially, where if you land on it, all your prices get 100% increased for that one turn. But if nobody lands on your properties, then nothing happens. Because it's like, sure, you could have like a property that's like $2,000 that just becomes $4,000 the next turn. But it's really situational. And I feel like if I were to do it one more time, I think I would make it a 100% commission. That would be a custom edit to the game. But that would allow other people for you to get money on other people's properties when they land on it too. So that makes it a lot more situational. That, and I still do want to keep its take a break function. I know a lot of people sleep on it. No joke intended. But it's not actually half bad if you think about it. When you consider that, okay, a balloon port, it charges money. It's not a whole lot of money, but it charges a decent chunk, like a decent chance. If you could put someone to sleep and actually capitalize that by like landing on their tax office or something, or like a $2,000 shop, that just saved huge progress in exchange of you getting something crucial like a suit or being able to buy out a shop. So I really think like the utility of like just giving somebody a holiday is kind of an underrated play. It's just that nobody ever uses it because travel agency stinks anyways. Not.
It's in circus tents because I want to be the entire circus.
Yeah.
But
the problem is with a state agency is that no one really meta games it for the sleep function. It's for the other thing, and then they just kind of forget about it.
It's just balloon,
Yeah, it's just balloon port, and then like, well, if it's vanilla tax office, but
that's why I'm saying like balloon port should be open for everyone to use because some people just need that one warp to get that one thing they mean, or at the very least skip over a scary area and get the suit so they can promote and get something out of something. They would gladly pay like $400 or so, even if they're in last, to get past the very scary area.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see that. Sounds super fun. Especially if it's just for like, just even for testing, that sounds incredibly fun to like play around with that.
Unfortunately, I don't think that kind of change is.
Yeah, it would be really tough.
Code.
It would be really tough. That would involve like actual.
I'm not like Captain Expert on modding. There's somebody watching right now that knows more than I do on the subject.
Yeah, I would have to admit that change would require a lot of work, but it would be fun.
I can only
see if you could get it to work, it'd be a cool idea. But it's probably not feasible at the moment, sadly.
Yeah.
What other questions did you have, Nims, that you wanted to ask Noah? Was there any other questions?
I'm asking somebody a question.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem. But yeah, but tax office and vanilla seemed like the obvious choice most of the time. That's not an issue in rolling again, because like I wish there was a way to like buff it in the middle, because sometimes 5% feels kind of bad. Like 7.5% would be interesting, kind of thing.
I sent message anyway. I was going to ask about the arcade being changed. I can't go into too much detail about how many times I've gotten 7s and just felt disappointed. Because I could have probably gotten more from getting more than one line of the little mushrooms or slimes or whatever.
Yeah, you like never get 7s in vanilla, and then if I roll again, oh, I got 7s again. Woo!
Yeah, I sort of get why they're nerfed. You don't want to get at the start of the game someone gets 2 7s and here's a free 1,000, gold to just do whatever with. Go wild, go crazy.
Go buy everything. Yeah.
Because it just gives that one person a huge advantage. And it's sort of stinky poo-poo. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I wasn't here for the whole thing. So I'm trying to think of other boards that I've played or seen played that I have questions about. Because there's some boards on there I've never played at all yet. Like I haven't played the Minecraft one, for example. Yeah, I know y'all were talking about oh, he died again.
He did say it was stormy, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I'll have that question.
Yeah.
Wait. More stuff to edit out.
Yeah.
Yep. All right,
I know
what time
Joseph
did this
can edit it
happen
out.
on?
There we go. Sorry.
There you go. Welcome back.
Take your time.
Yeah. Sorry, my power keeps going out.
No,
Yeah,
it's storming. It's storming.
Yeah, it's
understandable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did we, by chance, get any new questions, by the way?
Nimbs was asking something before he died.
I'm trying to fucking, bully somebody into saying their stuff, but they're not doing it.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to bully Miss Character Mod herself to say her piece. Since I talked about the character mod and everything, if you had any questions about it, no, you could ask her, but she's being stinky about it.
Oh. Yeah, I have to give everyone.
She's raising her hand. I said the right words in a sequence.
I have to give everyone super props if they're able to work with models. I mean, everyone's good at something, but if there's one thing that I am not good at working with, it's definitely 3D models. I cannot work with models for squat.
Yeah.
So, the whole Mario project was just an elaborate heist.
Oh, really?
Like, nobody made any models for it. I know Peachy did a bit of, like, rigging and shit with a few models, but for the most part, we just took models from games and put them into other games.
Such as Mario Party, for example. I think a lot of them came from that.
Yeah, most of them
Tennis
did.
Aces, I believe, too.
Tennis Aces was hell.
Oh,
the
I bet.
animations in Tennis Aces are so bad. There's not enough of them. So you basically have to play a freaking jigsaw puzzle to get enough animations to make a full animation set using Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh.
So 0 out of 10, never again.
No
Basically, yeah, you don't need to know how to model or any of that to make a character mod. You just need to be able to rip models and animations from existing games.
Well, I will.
Comes in.
I'll cut you off for a second, Mimi, but it depends on the game you're trying to pick a mod with.
Oh, yeah.
If it's the wrong game, oh boy, you better be getting ready to get that Maya, get that Blender, and start struggling because that's going to be happening.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Nimby had a much harder task than I did because he had the bright idea to make a Pokemon character mod.
I wanted to know if it was possible. And it's just like, what's his name from Jurassic Park? He asked the scientist, right? If they
whether
could do
or not he could.
It
didn't stop to think about whether or not he should.
And I did. I did it. I would do it, and I would spend like 3 hours sitting on my computer, like
Right.
running through everything, and I would make a little bit of progress, and I'd go to sleep. I'd just be laying in my bed. It's like, what if I tried this method instead? And I had to get up and get back to my computer like 4 in the morning to see if it worked.
Yeah.
And every time I did, eventually, I got it to where it could theoretically work.
Peachy and I had many times where we received messages from Nimby at 4 in the morning.
I believe it. I mean, that's
I would send like a video, and it would just be me like I have become a legend. And it was just like a clip of the model moving around the board with no animations. It was like, I have done it. I have created a video game.
So yeah, the real hard part, well, not really. There's nothing technically hard about it, but it will take forever, is the dialogue.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, I did mention that. And how I signed, my death warrant on that one. I volunteered. But
Yep.
I didn't even get into the fun part of, you got that file size is a little bit too big. Game doesn't work anymore.
Oh yeah. It won't matter for rolling again, actually, because you need to play it on Dolphin anyway. But with certain character models, if the size gets too big, then you're forced to play it on Dolphin with the memory expansion thing. Otherwise, the game will just crash when you try to load a minigame.
We, and to some extent me, have worked trying to cut down characters' file sizes as much as possible.
Pauline is a bitch. That's all we're going to say on that.
I think we're at the minimum we can get it to where it will be. And I luckily found a workaround at like 3 in the morning. It was like, I'm going to figure this out, see what I can do. I just remember there was a memory override for Dolphin, and it turns out you can add like 2 extra megabytes of RAM to it, and Fortune Street will not have a heart attack any more than 2, and it doesn't like it. It's over with.
Yeah, it just won't boot in the first place.
So sorry if we're sort of stealing, you're rolling again. That's what this is all about. And
I mean, this was just the last 15 minutes. This is just bonus content.
Yeah, but it was sort of mentioned, and I thought that since I was talking about it, I would try to get the actual brains behind the whole.
Fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Organization to come and
we've gone on
give her.
Topic
but if you do want to have the characters in rolling again, we can talk about that. We could help with the dialogue, because there's no way in hell you're going to do it by yourself. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
We also eventually are going to work on backgrounds.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because technically speaking, I think we have the knowledge of how to put in 3D backgrounds. We just don't want to do it right now.
Yeah.
Because it's the hassle of doing it.
I mean, it's probably easier than characters, but I just fucking collapsed after spending a month and a half doing characters.
Yeah,
so
she spent like daily hours doing characters, despite my protest of at least saying stop doing it. You're working too hard.
Yeah.
However, because some of the stages that you have, like Rookport and stuff, they're just straight up models on Model Resource that you could slap on and turn into a Rookport mod background instead of having to repaint Delfino Plaza.
The funny thing is, in my attempts of doing character modding, I've become slightly proficient in buildings, so theoretically I could probably make a background. I don't know if I could do the textures for it, but
I mean,
it was a lot easier putting buildings in than characters. It took me I was able to replace because I wanted to make a whole Pokemon themed mod pack. Everything. I think, I don't know if you're on Custom Street, at least not as Noah Schroeder. Noah and Toad, I think?
Yeah, I go as Noah and Toad.
I think, because I had like a poll about Pokemon there. You mentioned Unova a little bit when talking about it.
Yeah.
I was trying to gauge interest of which Pokemon would be good to put in. And then I started looking into the details, and they're like, oh no, most of these Pokemon are going to have no animation.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of repeats.
Ugh, pain and suffering.
Well, listen, I got to work what I got handed to me. I don't got a whole bunch. They did give them walk animations. They just float in the air. What do you want me to do?
Cry.
Funny, they'll walk in spirit.
Yeah, they'll walk in spirit. I mean, I guess I could make some of them do it eventually, like some sort of method of walking, but it'd just be complicated in time consuming. But yeah, I mean, I do look forward to seeing what Rolling Again gets added with it, since the time you made it originally, a whole lot has changed.
So much, yeah.
A whole new frontier has arrived.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the fact that, like, the methodology that Noah was using to make it was old when Rolling Again came out.
Yeah.
Like, now we have event spaces. I don't know if you have any event spaces.
So I'm so looking forward to event spaces, yeah.
Yeah. Especially since you seem to like jank.
Yes, I love jank.
I noticed. Because, like, most of your boards are jank. And the boards that you changed from the vanilla, you added jank to them. Like, I noticed in Robin Hood Ruins, there's 2 roles now that just straight up never get you a shop. And it's like, why?
Because that's fun.
Yeah.
All I can say is the next time I play that Triforce, it better have a button on the top.
Oh my god.
Or I'm quitting immediately. If it doesn't have a button up there,
no button.
I'm gonna...
Oh, did you tell him about the time where you got ass rammed on Triforce?
That is the first thing I said. I came in here saying, like I played your mod, and I don't like it that much, especially that Triforce.
Oh, but did you tell him about the rant?
Oh no, I didn't tell him about the rant.
Oh boy.
I didn't know.
Where he was like, he was basically very angry at you and saying dramatic ways of like you being unable to mod. Like, I hope your fingers get run over.
Okay, before we get into this, I want to preface it by saying a gimmick of mine is I come up with like rants.
It's a bit.
It's a bit, right? I don't have like any animosity. I was like trying so hard not to laugh. I was delivering this rant, and I think the reason why it was so funny is it was so seamless.
It was, and also it was melodramatic as hell.
We could never. I wish we were recording because it was funny, and you tried replicating it, but it was not playing
in. We have to record it.
It was like, it was just like me. It's like, I don't know why he made this. I don't know. I want to know where he is. I'm going to his house. I'm going to be sitting down with him. I'm going to be telling him why he's bad at board creation. Why he should stop doing that. So I hope it's not his day job. Because he should consider a different career. And I was just going off.
I wish we recorded the game where we played on Eerie's custom Aleph card. That game was fun.
God.
Oh my goodness. Right off the bat, it's Aleph. I was going to say right off the bat, it's Aleph card.
Dude, I have never seen anybody get as lucky as this stupid gorilla. He got everything. Everyone else get nothing. This gorilla, he's getting everything handed to him. Everyone's at like sub 10k, and he's over here at 25k or something. Because he got a monopoly like 300 stocks.
I peaked at 30k because I rolled a 1 before bank, and I got to invest one more time before getting to the bank, and no one got to leech off me. My stock went over 100, and I'm pretty sure someone got the venture card that boosts my stock.
Yes,
also.
you got like a warp to bank. You got to like buy stocks cheaply. You got to like sell stocks for like 35% while you were buying the bank.
I got the bank monopoly, and I didn't have to trade. I'm pretty sure.
As the game where someone had the bright idea to put vacant plots on Aleph Guard, Red got a balloon like 4 spaces away from the bank. And, like, 5 turns in a row, he would land on the balloon port, then go to bank, and then land on the balloon port again. And he just bought, like, 500 stocks.
that is honestly what makes Balloon Port as good of a property as it is. If you can get a vacant lot by the bank, just balloon, because just stockpile.
And you were the one who said the tax offices were way better and that balloons were a rookie mistake.
Okay, no. Tax offices are busted, but balloons are pretty good. I will admit.
What else was there? I did that. I remember you talked about like first time playing Unova.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it. I was just befuddled at what's going on.
Oh yeah, no one's first time playing Unova is going to be like any of their other times. It's a learning process.
I had a bit of a rant on there too, because a lot of your boards have a lot of like just looping in places. But Unova didn't in certain spots. It's just like he's got looping on every other board he's got. But not this one. This one he doesn't have any loop.
Yeah.
He doesn't allow it.
That's to simulate the random encounters that you get in Pokemon. You just get a new Pokemon, whatever you roll, you're stuck with it.
I got that from your explanation. It makes more sense now hearing your explanation. At the time, I was like, gotta loop backwards. Give me the fly HM. Let me go back.
Oh. Yeah,
Take me back, Chief.
It's sad that you can't have like the custom buildings for just one board, because Nimby's like custom Pokemon Center bank and stuff would be really cool on Unova.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It took me a little bit to resize them, but I think I don't know if I have the picture of them.
Yeah, it sounds like with some of the stuff, it's just trying to refigure out how to add stuff to it at this point.
If I can find the picture, I'll show it. I'll post it somewhere. I think it's in the bunker. Did I put it in there? I can't remember. I'm trying to find it. I'm struggling.
I know where it is. I just found the video of it, so I could put that in voice chat right now if you guys want.
Yeah, put it if y'all wanna. If no one wants to see the buildings in there.
I'll check it out.
Their coolness. Tell me what you think.
If you're on mobile, you get to cry because it's in WebM format.
Oh yeah, because sort of stinkily. That's how I did it with my video editing software.
Yep.
I think
the Stockbroker is like the mall from Gen 2, I think.
I believe it's one of the shopping centers, yeah. And then the arcade is a game corner. Of course, the bank's a Pokemon Center. Obviously, I would change the names of everything.
Yeah.
I'll probably change... I want to change the balloon port to just be like Fly HM. So
just the CD.
That, or I could make the balloon have a picture of a Pikachu on its texture, which would be also possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a lot of plans I have for it. It's just the issue I have is character models are
they suck.
They're sort of big because Nintendo or Game Freak.
Whoever made them.
They wanted to future-proof it, and I don't mean probably knows, but like what the average Fortune Street vanilla character has, what, like under 2K polygons?
I think it's less than that, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say they are not incredibly optimized.
So,
they're better than Dokapon models. They look 4K from the Dokapon models.
Yeah.
The Pokemon are...
1 sec, guys, real quick. Because we're over like 2 hours in recording. Is there anything you wanted to add, Noah, before I end the recording and all that? Because this has been pretty long as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Way off topic on some
sort
stuff.
of got ranting.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
You're all good. Because we could stand in here and talk still. It's just, I think for...
Oh, yes, I would like that.
Yeah, is there any more questions that anybody has, or any last-minute questions? Just random ones? What's, just fireball questions? Favorite stage? I don't know. I really don't have a favorite stage.
I think there should be one question in this. before it ends, because I think Eerie wanted to talk about looping.
Looping, yeah.
Yeah, aka
That should
why
probably
can
be in
you loop in Star Fox?
Star
Oh my
Fox
God.
loop. I don't know. That's just the whole kind of board. Actually, Star Fox was, funnily enough, based on like one of the board games I made as a kid, so that's probably why. Yeah. You could basically just loop the board whenever you wanted, but you know what? Whatever. It's fine. If they want to loop in Star Fox, I don't care. It's unique to its board, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, at some point though, like there's one thing about the board being like unique and whatever, but the boards also need to be fun to play.
Yeah.
And if they're too unbalanced and too janky, then it just becomes whoever hits the A button best wins, and it's like it's less fun to play.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
have to strike a balance.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about the stock game. That's what Fortune Street basically devolves down to.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get leeched on by like everyone because you get a monopoly 3 turns in.
You gotta play that Stocks Johnson game.
Yeah.
You can't always be a property Paul. You gotta be a Stocks Johnson.
Can't believe that became a thing just because something I said.
Yeah.
It got said one time, and now it's just a running gag.
Yeah.
Welcome to like most internet humor.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think we're all
I
good.
don't think there's any more questions.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I answered quite a few of them, so I'm surprised that was already 2 hours. That was some of the fastest 2 hours I've ever seen.
Yeah, I came in super late, so it was.
Yeah, she didn't know this was about rolling again.
No, this is part. It's fine.
It was gonna be on Twitch, but none of us can physically stream it because bad stream keys, and I basically essentially got locked out. Not literally, but you know what I mean, like from streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to go and reset the stream key probably, and
it ended up being a blessing in disguise because oh my god, we need to edit this.
Yeah.
This probably worked better for YouTube, but this will be, and if you want to promote it on your bit, that's fine. If you want to show people this, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. All right, sweet.
I mean,
because
you're putting it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, and DokaNerds YouTube. Yeah. You
could just post like the link and like whatever Noah wants to put in the description.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm also saying he could show it on his Discord, and I was also gonna let Noah know we played Fortune Street a lot in here, surprisingly, even though it's not a Fortune Street focus.
It gets played all the time. Sometimes multiple games a day. Sometimes till 3 in the morning. Sometimes even later.
Till 3 in the morning, rookie numbers. I am not gonna let you get away with that one time you played until 7 in the goddamn morning.
Hey, listen, all right, we were having fun.
I'm pretty convinced
we were playing rolling again, and I was getting screwed. I couldn't let
mentality.
I couldn't let that Triforce drag me down. I had to have one fun game.
Mm-hmm.
And did it happen?
No. I think I finally won one time on. Was it? It might have been the Dig Dug one.
Dig Dug, yeah. I love Dig Dug. I think that one was actually my first stage I've ever made.
I like Dig Dug. My only problem with Dig Dug is the feet part. That's my only. I like it.
But hearing that doesn't want to work for looping wise, I get why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a limitation.
Like an outro y'all are gonna do, or are we still going here?
Well,
thanks to all who were watching and who came to join.
Thanks for all who listen, and this will be re-uploaded if you weren't here to listen on the Discord.
Yeah, and thank you all who are watching.
I'll have to watch the beginning of it to see what I missed.
And thank you, Noah, for being here. I was really stressing trying to plan this because of my personal life as well, and the stuff I do on this Discord. It was great to finally be able to find a time to do this with you. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Other than the weather, it all worked out pretty well.
It did work out well. Thank you. Yeah.
That's all that matters in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks
It was good talking to you.
For coming here. Thanks for talking and letting us talk your
ear off.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Also, if you guys just want to talk in here, it's fine. It's just I'll stop the recording now. So thank you all for watching.
Well, I'm sure